When Jesus was asked in Matthew 22 what the greatest commandment was, Jesus answered, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And the second is like it, you shall love your neighbor as yourself." On these two commandments hang all the law of the prophets. By saying this, Jesus was telling his listeners that everything comes back to love. For if we love God and love others, then everything else falls into place. That is an easy statement to say, but how does that translate into something practical we can live by? The answer to that is still love. Life has a way of throwing us challenges and opportunities. We may encounter instances of financial hardship or sickness. People we meet, either in person or online, can be unkind or antagonistic. We may feel frightened, anxious, isolated, or alone. Many of us probably experienced some or all of these challenges during 2020. It was a difficult year by any stretch of the imagination. There was much in our world that was uncertain and frightening. And even though there was quite a bit of ugliness as well as division and unpleasantness, it was also a time when I saw some of the greatest responses to the call to love God and love our neighbor. There were many opportunities. I saw people go out of their way for others. We became a community that tried to look out for one another. We were in this together. In the town where my family lives, neighbors began to really get to know each other and have conversations. If someone didn't feel safe going out, there was always someone that was willing to run errands or pick up groceries. The school system came up with a way to continue to provide daily meals to anyone that needed them, even when school was being taught virtually. When some unexpected financial struggles developed in our neighborhood, for those who were out of work and unable to meet their obligations, help was offered by their neighbors. As my dog and I went out on our daily walks, we saw where people had written encouraging messages on the sidewalk meant to provide hope and a sense of solidarity. It was quite apparent to me that people were caring for and about others. 2020, among other things, made us take a step back and reevaluate what was important. It provided opportunities to learn new skills and be pushed outside of our comfort zones. It forced us as a faith community to think outside the box and to find alternative ways to stay connected. We had to learn to be flexible and find new ways to be a congregation in a time when our traditional ways of being a congregation were not possible. We had to find new ways of doing things and new ways to worship together. We also had to figure out what it meant to be God's hands and feet in a world where we had to stay 6 feet away from other people and where we had to wear a mask. Life was challenging, but as a community, we responded to that challenge with love and grace. And by responding to that challenge, we became a reflection of the love and grace that God has for each of us. As it says in 1 John 4:12, if we love one another, God lives in us, and his love is perfected in us. 2021 has continued to be difficult, even as we have become hopeful that at some point, life may resemble some type of normalcy. But even in times of hardship, we are able to give back to others. By reaching out to others or performing acts of kindness to those we encounter every day, by donating to or volunteering at a food bank or a homeless shelter, or working with our youth, we are responding to Jesus' challenge to us as disciples to love God and love one another. When we give of our time, talent, and treasure, we are helping the church to move Christ's mission in this world forward. By providing funding, we help the church to offer oblation assistance to those in need around the world. Assistance was given in many places to those that struggled during the 2020 pandemic and still needs to be given as people continue to struggle today. Our tithing also goes to support our ministers as they work to bring ministry to our global congregations and communities. We are a global family that continues to journey together in Christ's mission. As it says in Doctrine and Covenants 161:7, the spirit of the one we follow is the spirit of love and peace. That spirit seeks to abide in the hearts of those who would embrace its call and live its message. The path will not always be easy, the choices will not always be clear, but the cause is sure and the Spirit will bear witness to the truth, and those who live the truth will know the hope and the joy of discipleship in the community of Christ. As disciples, we respond to that Spirit by loving God and loving others, but also by giving abundantly. Christ's mission is our mission.